Cool Album Covers, Episode 31, Caricatures.
I'm Mark Major.
I'm Rich Batchelor.
Now, this first cover, Jethro, Tull, Stand Up, I am going to argue that this is the first company picture of TSR, the company that created Dungeons & Dragons in the 70s, complete with the buckskin elven boots and gree bag.
What sort of roll of the dice do you think you had to throw out there to get headband and glasses?
He kept looting for days.
To return to the idea that you brought up earlier, which is an excellent one, that, like, I'm so well known now that people will even respond well to drawings of me. There's a lot to be said for that, and this one in particular looks like it was kind of carved out of linoleum or something. Just him and a knife and a piece of linoleum.
And he actually gives the illusion of creating more hair on the band, if you could imagine that.
Mark
Shall
Spitz?
we move on?
Yeah.
Who's this by?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's a band called Revolver.
The band is called Capitol Records. Their album is called Revolver.
Since I'm seated in a different studio entirely from you, I can only somewhat tell. That looks like a...
You have a better green room in your studio.
It's true. You ought to see this hat. It's not really a hat. I've never had a lot to say about this album cover because this album cover is not very good. This is like, drawn on your notebook in junior high levels of psychedelia.
The picture, I think, is kind of cool. The drawing is kind of cool, but the black and white photos that have been cropped in are sort of not cool. And it sort of ruins the line drawing, which also seems to indicate a lot of hair.
And in the case of George, a lot of lipstick.
Speaking of lipstick...
Oh, yeah, it's true.
The Who by numbers. This is drawn by the bass player, John Entwistle, and he has signed his drawing in the bottom there. I wonder how many people have tried to sell this and have claimed that it's actually just a signed copy, when in fact that was part of the artwork.
It's interesting what a multi-talented man Thunderfingers was that he could draw such a thing on the cover of an album and so on.
Right. Napkin art technology, which is a lot like this next one, except this is drawn by a famous caricaturist.
It's drawn by Al Hirschfeld. Basically, his drawings are all over the place, certainly in the New Yorker. I mean, he's dead now, but like for decades and decades and decades, if you were any kind of hit anywhere, generally speaking on Broadway, but more or less if you were any sort of famous anywhere in the United States, chances are Al did your drawing. And here's Aerosmith looking,
hairy.
And actually, not that they ever meant to do this, but, they sort of look like ladies. Or they look a great deal more Broadway than they might think. It's no mistake that Al Hirschfeld felt the need to draw them. He looked at them and said, like, look at the funny long head. Especially you there, blondie Beatle. Am I right?
I have one word for this cover. Bitches. Bechet, Spanier.
Yeah, it looks like Muggsy's having a bad evening. Well, actually, frankly, it looks like Sidney and Muggsy are having a bad evening.
They're having a fantastic evening, but it was the evening before this one.
I guess this is one of those that reminds me that once upon a time, most album covers looked like this.
Yeah.
You don't see that anymore, and possibly with good reason.
That concludes yet another edition of Cool Album Covers.
Thank you so much.